Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to the first video from my channel, Your Daddy Issues Gaming, a channel where I get to share my love of gaming as well as some wisdom from me, a lifelong gamer. I'll be sharing videos of me playing various retro games from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, all while in VR. I'll also be sharing some stories in hopes that some of you will find them interesting, insightful, funny, nostalgic, or none of the above. And you know what? That's a-okay. So take a trip down memory lane with me, and hopefully you can stand to hear me yada 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 enough to stick around. Now that we got that out of the way, let's jump right in. I want to first give a shout out to Emu VR for this sick 80s environment. The link is in the description. Now the reason I picked Super Mario Bros. Is because I want to talk about goals. Now, I received Super Mario Bros. In Christmas of 1986, and it was hands down one of the best presents I had ever received up until that point. That Christmas, I received a Nintendo Entertainment System and a Kenner Ghostbusters Proton Pack. Now, all you 80s babies who were the real Ghostbusters fan, you know what I'm talking about. Now, my parents were divorced around this time. They had been divorced for a year. So this was the first Christmas that I had gotten to spend with my dad since the divorce. I remember waking up that Christmas morning, my brother and I racing downstairs to see what was under that tree. And man, let me tell you, the joy I felt seeing that Nintendo Entertainment System under that tree is such a fond memory. We spent all day playing this game. Now, we did receive another game with the Nintendo. It was Donkey Kong 3, but we would play it here and there, but we just kept going back to Super Mario Bros. And let me tell you, at 6 years old, it was the most difficult game I had ever played. Now, I had not played a Nintendo game prior to that. My gaming experience came in the form of the Atari 2600. So all those who remember the Atari 2600 games will remember those games did not have endings. Those games were meant to be played for points. Now, you did have some games in that library that actually did have somewhat of a story and an ending, and Adventure comes to mind, but they were few and far in between. Now, when I was playing Atari 2600, you know, I played the god-awful port of Pac-Man, as well as one of my favorite games, even to this day, Keystone Capers. But again, those games were played for points only, no story, no ending. So Super Mario Bros. Was such a big deal to me. Here we were in this 2D side-scroller adventure that actually had an ending, and the graphics, oh yeah, we were hung up on graphics in the 80s. The graphics blew me away. Now, here's the funny part. Unfortunately, I did not end up beating this game until 1989, 3 years after receiving the system. I was the last kid in my family of boys to beat this game. I got teased, I got ridiculed, I got just all kinds of things said to me. How can you not beat this? This is so easy. You still can't beat it. This is such a baby game at this point. And you know, it got to the point where I would just not play the game. If I was around other people, if I was in a setting where we were all playing Nintendo and this game got popped in, I just wouldn't play because I just could not face that ridicule. I could not face the taunts and everything. And with that, I had set out to beat this game. I told myself, I will beat this game. I will not let this game beat me. Corny, I know. But hey, this is what I said to myself. And I would never forget, it was 1989. I was in my cousin's grandmother's room, and I was all alone, and we had a Nintendo in there, and I beat it. I beat Super Mario Bros. Now, you would think after all this time, I would be so amped, so hyped to just run out in the street and say, hey, I beat the game. Let everyone know I'm no longer a baby. I'm no longer a kid. I'm a man now. I beat this game. but I didn't. I kept it to myself. And the reason I feel like I kept it to myself in that moment was because it was just something I had to do for me. And I was not doing it for anyone else. And I felt like keeping that victory to myself. Now, the way I will prove later on that I actually beat the game is, again, if I was in a setting where this game was being played and we were all playing it, I would just beat it. Simple as that. My actions spoke louder than my words. And that is something that even to this day, I tell my 19-year-old son, and I have been for a very long time. Son, action speaks louder than words. I know it's like the most basic form of advice that you can either receive or give, but it carries so much weight with it, especially when you're talking about setting goals for yourself. Now, the Nintendo itself, and especially Super Mario Brothers, I used to love to watch my older brother play this game. That guy was so good when it came to video games. My other brother and I would just sit and watch him for hours beat a game. And especially Super Mario Brothers, he would find all the warps, all the tips, all the tricks and the secrets. And it was just phenomenal. And that was something that I can look forward to. You know, I looked up to him in that regard. I wanted to be like him. So again, that was a goal that I set for myself. Now, admittedly, I am not that great at this game. And what I mean by great is there is one thing that may sound so simple that I've seen done numerous times. My older brother used to do it. So in World 3-1, at the end of World 3-1, I believe it's the last stairs before the flag, you can jump on a Koopa. And you can repeatedly jump on this Koopa shell and rack up free lives, extra lives, until time runs out, you know? And this is a trick that even to this day, I still have not perfected. But maybe I will one day. If I feel like I want to invest the time and energy in learning how to do that just as a personal goal of mine, I feel like I will. But yeah, I've never been able to pull it off. I tried it. Every time I was unsuccessful, but maybe I'll give it another go. Now, also, I used to love talking about this game with friends. I used to love being in the schoolyard and we would talk about all the tips, the tricks, and the secrets. And I remember one specific secret we will always talk about was the negative world. Now, all you who grew up with this game know exactly what I'm talking about, but this negative world was so elusive to us. It was a thing of rumor. You know, we thought that it was just this secret world, this whole other secret world in Mario that you had to be the cream of the crop to explore and to discover. And there were extra lives there and there were extra coins there. Or it unlocked a whole nother secret, or it unlocked a new princess. Like we had no idea. It was all speculation to us. But as we know now, you know, the negative world it's a glitch. You know, it's a world that just continues and until time runs out, and there's really nothing special. But the wonder and the wonder of just knowing and hearing about it exists was just always on the lips of us kids. And yeah, and so I just, this game will always just have a very, very special place in my heart. And you know, I still, every time I play this game, I still remember that feeling of accomplishment that I felt when I beat it. That feeling of accomplishment that I felt when I discovered the different tips and the different tricks and all the warps. I can warp from 1 to 4 to 8. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of great levels between 1 and 8. There are some really challenging levels between 1 and 8. Admittedly, I've never went through the entire game. I've never been through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like I will always skip a world, or if I found a warp, I will use that warp. I honestly have never played World 4, but regardless, I still beat the game. Regardless, it was still something that I set out to do, that I said I was going to do, and I did it. And no one can take that moment away from me. And for that, again, this game will always just have a place in my heart, in my mind. And when I, even as an adult, as a 41-year-old man, when I think about how I want to set goals in my life, this game always comes back to mind. It may seem like the smallest thing, but it's really not. It is a big deal in that regard. If as a child you say, I want to do this and I'm going to do this someday, and you do it, that's something that stays with you forever. So I really hope you enjoyed this story. I really hope you enjoyed this gameplay. If you would like to hear me tell more stories, definitely click subscribe. Click the notification bell to get notified of my next upload. And I'm thinking maybe next time we'll be in an arcade and we'll explore a very special arcade game to me from the 80s that I used to play a lot. I would love to do that, and we can be in an arcade environment. And that's the thing I love about VR, because it can take you from here to there and everywhere in between. So definitely click that subscribe, click that like. Let's get the likes up. And again, I hope to put out quality videos for you guys and take you down memory lane, and hit me up. Let's have a discussion. If some of these things have resonated with you and you would like to share a story, I would like to hear them. And I'm pretty sure there were other people that would love to hear your story. So let's connect and let's game. All right. Your Daddy Issues Gaming is out.